Hello everyone, it's Chris, aka Biggest Rebel. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to try, I guess, narrating while I draw. It's not really something that I do all that often because once I get into it, I tend to be quiet. So first we're going to go ahead and ink this badge. It's actually just a gift from one of my favorite artists in the fandom. Their name is Aries, obviously by this name. So we're going to go ahead and ink it, and then I'll come in with some Copic markers to finish it off. So that's the plan for today. So let's go ahead and get started. So first I'm going to go ahead and use this inking pen. It is a brush pen. I don't remember what it's called, but I will link it in the description so you guys can check it out then. Let me go ahead and pull my sleeve up just because I want to have a clear view. And if you hear it creaking, it's probably my chair. It creaks a lot. So let's go ahead and get started. I am always super nervous when I start putting down my first lines, especially on the face or around the head. So let's just go ahead. Inking with a brush pen is always fun because you get this line variation that is hard for me to achieve, especially when I'm doing like digital art or using a fine liner, which I do usually come in to do some details with if you've seen any of my other art videos. And again, if I go quiet, it's just because I'm paying attention to what I'm trying to do. And there we go. So I do try to start over on this side and then make my way this way, but sometimes I forget, and then you'll get some smudging like right there because this is a very wet ink. And you'll get stuff like that. So I'm going to try to pay attention to how I'm inking this, see if I can't minimize that smudging. I don't know what to say while I'm inking, because it's pretty self-explanatory of how I work. Basically, inking is just tracing the lines that you've already put down. Sometimes I mess up, but you know, I'm not perfect. This is basically the same process I use with all of my traditional pieces, except for the Posca one that I posted last week. If you guys want to watch that, I'll link it somewhere. But that's basically just because Poscas have I don't know, they just feel different, I guess, when working with them versus inking and then coloring. You just get those lines that just come out so good. That one was that was one of them. I do try to avoid tangents. Like I almost accidentally connected this line to the point there, which would have created a tangent. Which tangents, lot better explanations everywhere else online, but basically they're just like two lines that seem to connect to each other, but they're different objects. So like that would have made this wing go into the fur, but instead I put it right underneath to try to avoid that. I hope that makes sense. Let's see if I can try to get this tail, and then we're gonna try to do the face, which when I do the face I do get very into it, so yeah, we'll see what happens there. Here's that smudging again. Here's that smudging again. So most of the time I can usually cover that up with the colors that I'm using during the piece or during the coloring stage, but it's still so frustrating to see it, of course. Here's that tangent again. I'm just trying to fix that right now. I don't think I can. So I'm just gonna leave it down there as it is because I'm trying to concentrate on this face now. That's why I'm pulling it a little closer to me so that way I can get as into it without getting like my head all the way into the camera lens. Okay, so I'm not gonna line the pupil area because I want to do that in color as well as with the eyebrows. So most of that's gonna be erased once I get into the coloring stage. So for now, we're just gonna do everything else. And the inking is done. So we have some stars over here. Again, it's going to be with color, the name, and this part of the wing and the eyes. And there's some few earrings here, but those are all going to be done a little differently. Okay, because they're going to be in color. So we'll come back as soon as the inks on this dries off and we get it erased. And here are some quick close-ups of the inks with the sketch underneath before everything gets erased and we color over it. Because sometimes the lines just look so good without color. So, alright, so now that the ink has had time to dry, I'm just going in and erasing the sketch lines. Probably gonna add a few more pen details, but I might wait until after I'm done coloring, so so my ink isn't wet and doesn't smear while I'm trying to color. So this is, I don't know if you guys can see it on the screen or not, but there's a lot of grays on this character. The most vivid thing are going to be the eyes, which I'm pretty excited about. I think they're really cute, or really pretty colors. So let's go ahead and get started. So I have a few colors off to the side here that I thought would work really well for this character. We're gonna start with some B000. So I'm gonna be posting a video soon about my Copic collection. Just watching them and kind of explaining a little bit more about what Copic markers are. I'm sure a lot of people know what they are. They're a pretty popular choice for a ton of artists, but it's more of like a crash course, beginner course kind of thing. So in case you don't know what they are, that's kind of what that video is more for. And we're going in with some B12. God, I need some B12. It's vitamin for energy. This is VO1, which might be a little too light to show up, and I probably should have put this down first. Oh no, that looks nice like that. Okay. So we might add a darker hue. This would be 32, by the way, for some more blue. The problem with some alcohol markers is they blend really easily, which isn't a problem because it's kind of what you want, but if it's not dry and you're trying to add some more color, then it's going to blend really easy, which I think is the mistake that I just made here. Whoops, that's all good. Don't worry about it. It's fine. I mean, well, this is a gift, so I want it to look nice. It's not a commission, so if I make a mistake or two, it's not gonna be the end of the world. You've seen some of my commission work if you've watched any of my other videos where I do plan out the colors and whatnot. So going from a digital piece, which is what the work is that I'm referencing, is it's a digital piece. It's done digitally. So going from a digital piece to a traditional piece can be difficult because you're going to have to match the colors as best as you can. Whereas if you're redrawing it digitally, you can just color pick or whatnot from the actual piece itself. So some of these colors may not be super accurate, which is always a problem. There goes my AC. Which is always kind of an issue that I run into when I do badge work for people who only have like digital references. But it's okay, you know. It's part of the challenge, I feel like. And this is RV11, by the way. We're going in with some of that pink. We're also going to put some of that on the hands. You know, might as well just do it now. It's part of the challenge, but I also find it really fun when I'm trying to choose colors traditionally. I do have a good selection of Copic markers, so it's not like I'm in danger of not having the right colors available. So I think the most difficult part of this specific character is going to be how we're going to incorporate all of these grays with the white, because there is also quite a bit of white going on this piece, which might prove difficult. These are all going to be basically in the cool gray family. They're more for shading. I do like to use these quite a bit. This is C3. We're also going to go in with some C1 here in a sec. That looks okay. I also really like this character, so I really hope this artist or Aries likes the work as well. So I'm going to shut up for a little bit while I work, so the rest of this will probably just be fast forwarded, unless I have something else to say. But yeah. Okay, so my camera just died, but I'm back. Had some dinner. Added a little bit of shading before I realized that the camera's dead. And I also added a little bit of these tick marks using the Micron that I was talking about earlier, because it is, excuse me, my chair. It isn't something that I feel like I can get a lot of line weight with, but it is something that I like to do, these tick marks, because it just feels like there's texture to my art, I guess I would say. And I've been doing that for a really long time. I don't know how I started that, but it's definitely been something that I've been doing for a while. So let's go ahead and keep going. We were just trying to shade in some pieces with this C1. Let's see if we can't finish that up. of the things that I like most about furry art, oh, there goes my air conditioner. Furry art in general is just how unique almost all characters are, because they're usually personas. So they're as unique as each individual, design-wise, color-wise. It really helps push me out of my design limits, what I like to draw, what I like to color and whatnot. Of course, I would still choose the ones that I like the best. Pretty happy so far. I think that's the majority of the, oh, I forgot up here to see. Hi. Here, there we go. There we go. What was it? It's my Copic pen. They have these white eyebrows that kind of make me a little apprehensive because they're like right here. I might actually go back in and outline that just to help it stand out. Yeah, I think I will. With this Micron. lot of this shading that I'm doing probably won't be visible on camera because these are such similar colors, but they're definitely visible when you're looking at it up close. And then for their gold accessories, we do have a gold Copic pen. It is kind of reflective, so that's pretty cool. That's it. I usually go back in and outline those as well. I'll let that dry just a little bit before we do that. I do want to kind of outline this part of the name. Oscars are just so fun to use for this part. So, excuse me while I take care of that. So that is the colored in badge. I'm gonna cut this out and put it together as an actual badge, but that's just so tedious. I don't really want to record it, but you can see the finished thing on my Twitter in a few days, or go look at it now because it's probably already posted. So thank you guys so much for watching. We'll do some close-ups and we're done. All right, here are some close-up shots before we turn this into a badge. I'm sorry about the previous footage. I didn't realize how off-center the camera was, but I hope that doesn't bother you guys too much, and hope you enjoyed watching and maybe learned something. I don't know. Thank you guys again. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.